Trash, waste, garbage. The things we throw away often say more about us than we'd like to admit. But every now and then, amidst the usual mountains of discarded furniture, food wrappers, and broken appliances, something truly disturbing emerges. Things that should have never been there. Things that tell stories of horror, mystery, and sometimes pure evil. Today on Creep, we'll take you through 7 of the most unsettling discoveries ever made in dumpsters and landfills. From the bizarre to the downright horrifying, these cases prove that sometimes what people throw away can be more terrifying than what they keep. Without further ado, let's begin. It was just an ordinary day for the sanitation workers of Upper Manhattan when they stumbled upon something strange in a pile of discarded junk. A heavy, rusted safe, half buried under old furniture and broken appliances. Curious, they decided to crack it open. After some struggle, the door finally creaked, revealing what was inside. Stacks of cash, long-expired passports, and several faded photographs of a man, always with different women, filled the safe's interior. But the most disturbing part? In one of the photos, the man was standing beside what looked like a freshly dug grave. There were no names, no clues, just eerie, smiling faces looking back at them. Authorities were called, and an investigation ensued. But despite attempts to identify the man or any of the women, no records matched the faces. To this day, no one knows who owned the safe, what the money was for, or why those chilling photos were locked away. But perhaps the real owner never expected anyone to find them. In 2018, a man in Khabarovsk, Russia, was out for a walk near the Amur River when he noticed something strange, a bag sticking out of the snow. Thinking it might contain stolen goods or garbage, he decided to investigate. Inside, he found something far worse. The bag was filled with human hands, 54 of them, to be exact, each severed at the wrist, neatly preserved, with no other body parts in sight. Some still had fingerprints, while others were missing chunks of flesh. At first, theories ranged from gang-related violence to occult rituals. However, authorities later claimed the hands came from a local forensic lab and had been improperly discarded. An official explanation? Maybe. But for many, the discovery remains as unsettling as ever. Because even if it was a mistake, why would someone throw them away like that? In 2014, a British waste disposal worker was going through a landfill site in Essex when he spotted something unusual, a porcelain doll half buried in the dirt. Its glassy blue eyes stared blankly, and its lips were slightly parted, as if whispering something unheard. Curious, he picked it up, and then, according to his account, things started happening. That night, he began hearing whispers in his house. Objects moved on their own. The doll, which he had placed on a shelf, would be found in different positions every morning. The worst part, he swore that one night, he woke up to the feeling of cold, porcelain fingers touching his face. Terrified, he threw the doll away again, this time far from his home. But days later, he found it back in his yard. No one knows where the doll came from, or who threw it away in the first place. But one thing is certain, some things should never be picked up. Speaking of dolls, imagine finding an entire underground tunnel filled with them. That's exactly what workers discovered in 2017 when clearing out an abandoned landfill in Mexico City. Hidden beneath the trash, they uncovered a small tunnel system, stretching several meters. But what made it terrifying was what covered the walls. Hundreds of decapitated doll heads, sewn together limbs, and lifeless plastic eyes staring into the darkness. No one could explain who built it or why it was there. Some believed it was a hideout of a disturbed individual. Others thought it might be part of an old, forgotten ritual site. But one thing is clear, someone at some point had taken the time to arrange the dolls in a very specific, very unsettling way. Even now, no one has come forward to claim responsibility for the tunnel. And maybe that's for the best. It started as a TikTok challenge in 2020. A group of teenagers was using an app that directed them to random locations. One such location led them to a beachside dumpster in Seattle, where they found something strange, a black suitcase, partially unzipped. Curious, they approached and opened it slightly. At first, they thought it was filled with garbage, but then the smell hit them. A putrid, unbearable stench. Inside, human remains. Authorities were called, and the suitcase was confirmed to contain body parts belonging to 2 murder victims, later identified as Jessica Lewis and Austin Wenner. The case shocked the city and remains one of the most chilling real-life horror stories ever caught on camera. In 1998, a group of college students in California made a discovery that still haunts them to this day. While taking out the trash behind their dorm, they heard faint, muffled cries coming from inside a dumpster. Thinking it was an animal, they carefully dug through the garbage, and then they froze. Wrapped in a plastic bag was a newborn baby girl, alive but barely breathing. They rushed her to the hospital, where doctors confirmed she had been abandoned only minutes after birth. Had they not found her in time, she wouldn't have survived the night. Luckily, the baby was adopted into a loving family. But the question remains, who threw her away? The mother was never found. In 2012, Toronto sanitation workers made a gruesome discovery. While collecting trash from an alleyway, they noticed a large, heavy garbage bag that seemed out of place. When they opened it, they were met with a horrific sight, a severed human foot. The investigation quickly escalated, and soon, more bags were found across the city, each containing different body parts. A head, a hand, a torso, all belonging to the same victim. The media went wild with speculation. Was it a gang killing? A serial killer? A twisted message? Days later, police identified the victim, Lin Jun, a Chinese student. His murderer, Luca Magnotta, a name that would later be remembered as one of the most disturbing criminals of the decade. Magnotta had filmed his crime, posted it online, and then mailed the body parts to different locations, including political offices. His case became infamous worldwide, proving that sometimes the things we throw away can be far darker than we could ever imagine. And there you have it, 7 of the most disturbing things ever found in dumpsters and landfills. Each of these cases is a grim reminder that the things we discard often have stories, and not all of them should be forgotten. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to never miss a chilling story. And remember, be careful what you throw away, because you never know what or who might be watching. Until next time, stay safe.